First up this morning, technology addiction. We talk about it with kids on the show all the time, but our next guest is here to talk about adult overuse of technology, our smartphones, our tablets. Gosh, I have mine out today. It's Facebook, it's work, it's something that impacts our personal relationships, our family, and really our life.
It does, for sure. And Dr. Melissa Westendorf is a forensic psychologist. She's also the co-founder of Technology Wellness Center, and she also is an author of this book. It is called Unplug, Raising Kids in a Technology-Addicted World. This is a book that I think a lot of us parents should be reading. And here's the bottom line, is that it's, you know, we think about it with our kids, getting our kids to unplug, get off the screen time, but we're guilty of the same.
This is the hardest thing for us to admit ourselves, is that we need to actually take action and be good role models for our kids, but also for our own well-being and our own happiness, is to get off our technology.
Yeah. I kind of feel like adults are a little behind it. Like, kids have been using technology so much, they're a little bit better at sometimes putting it down when they need to, where adults are so late in it, they're over-addicted a little late in the game. Do you think there's any truth to that?
Well, so what research is showing is that we are spending about 8 hours a day, 8 hours and I think 41 minutes technically, on our devices. Now, the average person sleeps 8 hours and 21 minutes. You know, so at least 3 hours is spent on social media. So that's just a lot of time we're devoting to these devices without, and if you think about that time we'd otherwise be spending with our families or with friends, or, you know, there's a research study that came out that talked about just how distracting a cell phone is. So they looked at 2 groups of people and simple and complex tasks. And when they did a simple task, they could do it. But if the group with the cell phone had it out, they scored more poorly on the complex task. So just having it out around us, even if it's not on, is distracting to us.
Really? Just
I feel like my blood pressure goes up whenever I hear the sound of a text now.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah, I think that's really true. And let's talk about, in a marriage, let's say, how does it affect spouses, the cell phone in particular?
Sure. So what they've seen in some of the research is that same distraction piece. So people will have their cell phone at the dinner table. So the spouses of people who have it on the cell phone or have it on the table, they feel like their relationships aren't as close anymore because the person is so distracted. The conversations aren't with each other. It's, oh, I got a text, or oh, I'm going to look at this, or I think they said that now people check their phones about 110 times per day. So that's a lot of...
That seems even low.
I mean... I thought you were going to say an hour.
I know, really. I'm just kidding. I feel like it's every couple minutes, though, you look at it.
Exactly, exactly. And so it's hurting relationships. They've shown that people who are compulsive users of the internet or devices, they have more feelings of loneliness, depression, and just lower levels of, you know, like well-being or happiness.
And intimacy.
And intimacy, absolutely. And so those who have more happiness tend to use their devices less often. So that tells us, you know, if we can just disconnect a little bit. I mean, everybody uses it. I'm guilty of using it sometimes too much. But just if we can disconnect or make some kind of rules for ourselves, we can help our family and our social life and even work life. This is really bleeding into our work life. People are becoming unhappier with work because they have to bring it home and they feel like they have to connect with their work while they're at home. Or they have spouses who are doing that, and that's hurting their relationships.
Yeah.
What are some of the things between children and parents that maybe are alarming as well? I mean, we talked about spouses and things like that. Are there statistics or anything that we should know about between children and parents?
Well, I think for that it's mostly about role modeling. You know, what do we want to teach our children or even kids around us? Like, what's more important? You know, mommy's cell phone or connecting with her friends on Facebook versus just spending quality time with our kids. Our kids learn so much from us, through us, like how we interact, and even role modeling how we're going to be with work. Are we going to bring work home all the time? Is that what real work is like? Or is work something that we do at work and then we come home and now this is quality family time? So the biggest piece to me is just really role modeling.
I always feel sad when I see, because cell phones were a little bit after my kids were in strollers, but I so often see parents pushing a stroller and being on the phone, and I feel like that's a really unique opportunity when kids are really young to share nature or kind of chit chat or whatever, and that, for whatever reason, that makes me sad. But I wonder too, you know, I know you don't use the word addiction loosely. Why is it so hard for us, even as adults? I mean, we expect our kids kids to get off their phones sometimes. Why is it so hard to put it down, shut it off, turn away from it?
Well, if you think about the brain, it's really like any other type of addiction. There's a dopamine surge that we get. So like you talked about the ding of that's a little surge of dopamine. And,
I feel
I
it.
got something, right? And so,
or it's like, ah! Stop!
Right. So that's what it is. That's why it's so hard to put it down. I mean, gambling's the same way. It's the same concept. It triggers the same parts of our brain. So we have to remember that the more we use it, the more dopamine we're shoving through our brains and flooding our brains. So really, if we can put it away, we can quiet the brain. The brain doesn't work quite as hard. And you know, that's what keeps us connected. It's just maybe knowing that or having the knowledge of that can make us make better choices.
Yeah, I like that.
So we're out of time, but if there's another takeaway, if there's another tip to take that balance, is it simply just putting it away? Is there anything else we can do?
Well, I encourage people to make a hard and fast rule. So for example, don't use your cell phone as your alarm clock, because what they're finding is people
guilty.
You know, okay, the alarm's up, but okay, now I'm going to go to Facebook and what's the news for the day? I'm going to check emails, what any messages. So don't use it as your alarm clock. Buy a $5 alarm clock, put it in your room, and don't put your phone in your bedroom. And that's like just a good start. You're not just waking up looking at your cell phone.
That is a great tip.
I like that.
I really like that. And your book is a wonderful resource for parents, for our kids and unplugging, but also for us, because it starts with us. Unfortunately, we've got to set good examples. I love it when you're here. Important information you can find at technologywellnesscenter.com. And again, the name of the book is Unplug, Raising Kids in a Technology Addicted World. Always great to see you.
Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.